Joe, how's broadcasting been?
I'm very burnt out.
I can imagine.
You almost swore already.
I did.
No, it's been good. You know.
Yeah, I'm sure the week and a half of nothing but Texas wasn't fun.
It was fantastic. Let me tell you, I got to see
all Texas.
Watch out, might be coming out. You never know.
For that 2 week period, how many times did you stream a Texas race?
So 3 with Bomb Squad, Usorol, and then
Did you just say Usorol?
Yeah, it's the Usorol.
Yeah, Usorol.
Usorol Cup Series. And then Hobo and All Star.
That's at least like
6. It was 6.
6 times.
Yeah, 6 times at Texas. At least they were broken up by that Monday race at Sears Point.
1 is too many. So
at least they weren't at the new Texas. You know?
Yeah.
That was the big thing.
I know our Texas race sucked. The USRL Texas race sucked.
Yeah.
That's bad. Stinky. We made up for it at Dover, though. Dover was fun.
Dover was awesome. That was
What color were we feeling?
best race.
I got multicolor, but Joe usually yells at me for multicolor.
I never yell at you for your...
Yeah, you do.
Is this one okay?
It's perfect.
Wait. Hold on. I need it.
I want to feel like I'm in the rave.
There we go.
Okay,
we'll just do a fade. There we go. I can also just go white. So
I'm doing Fake Racers podcast red.
oh, is that what I should do?
Really
Or I could go green, so then we got like a red, blue, and green kind of contrast.
Yeah.
There we go. Look at
RGB.
you.
We know colors.
Just kidding. I hate the color green.
Look, he's stretching.
We know colors.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Bristol.
He was out. He went to the dog park today.
I need you to tell Bristol that I would kill and or die for him.
If I turn around, he will get off the bed. And if I say his name, and he has separation anxiety.
Oh, okay.
So
well, whenever you get around to it,
Joe, what's your favorite half-mile high-banked racetrack?
Half-mile high-banked racetrack? I don't know.
What's that one in Tennessee called? Is it Martinsville? No, it's not Martinsville.
No, it's not Martinsville.
Slinger? No, it can't be Slinger.
Can't be Slinger.
That's in like Wisconsin or something.
Slinger's only like a quarter mile too.
Yeah, that's weird.
I think it's isn't its nickname like the world's fastest half mile or something?
I don't know, maybe.
Something like that. Yeah, I was gonna say, would I be considered a narcissist if I was wearing my own merch on the show? Or
I think I did it last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Not really. I think isn't the rule though not to wear your own merch at the racetrack?
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the rule. So
maybe I'll put the sticker on my water bottle so I can just like subtly drop that mid-show. There you go.
I'll make. All right.
Oh man,
I'm
real thirsty.
This water, and like be pointing at the sticker.
So I've used these before, and my buddy Phil always spills all over himself when he drinks. I'm like, how? But then I remember that I can almost fit my fist into it. So they make like a little mouthpiece that goes in there. But I've like spilled all over myself at work so many times.
Yeah, it's like little kids when they have a really big cup.
Yeah, I feel like a little kid because so the cap doesn't hit me in the face. I have to two-hand it. Hate it. I was like, I'm literally about to turn 26 in 4 days, and I still have to two-hand water.
On this week's episode of the Fake Racers podcast, Joe and Davey welcome a special guest, Matthew Steelman, to the show to talk about, well, Nashville and what a success that NASCAR weekend was. IndyCar, Road America, SRX, and then preview this weekend's racing action. It's a great show, guys. This one was really, really fun. Don't know why I refer to myself in third person, but here's the boys for the Fake Racers podcast. Hi, folks. Wow.
Hello.
Look at this. It's the Fake Racers podcast. You heard a new voice.
It's a threesome.
Look, so if you're on YouTube, down there, that's Mr. Matthew Steelman.
Hello.
And that's Davey Hazard. You know him. He's not that interesting.
I'm not. Matthew Steelman, though, host of the Oofsides podcast as well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm produce and host a mildly entertaining football podcast that is currently on hiatus. We made like 19 episodes and then never ended up getting around to making one about the Super Bowl because there was nothing to talk about in the Super Bowl. So,
that's how life goes.
Yeah.
But you got any other projects real quick before we start? Tell us, anything you want to share outside of that?
I mean, I run a little sim racing league called the USRL. You might have heard of it before.
Might have.
On this. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it.
Sorry, I don't know.
I don't know if I'm really working on anything else right now. So I mostly just use my YouTube channel for memes now. So like the one I made earlier. So go check out Apple Bottom Jeans by Oasis. That's a good video. So.
And we'll also have all the stuff linked in the description below. Just like we'll have Davey's stuff linked in the description below, and you know where to get my stuff. This is JT on the Johto Network, Fake Racers Podcast, episode 30-something, I think. Look at that, 30-something, and we finally got 3 people, Davey. Yeah. Isn't that great?
And it's not Tommy. It's not Tommy. Chase.
Oh my god!
Yes.
I feel honored to be the first guest. So
the rule
I'm so glad it's you. Oh my god.
The rule is once we get to 1,000 subscribers, then Tommy gets to come on. He said it, not me. That's the rule.
That is gonna be a
He's
mess.
limiting himself from coming on the show.
I'm terrified.
We'll do it like the first week.
It's gonna be a mess.
First week before the playoffs.
Oh my god. Because it's gonna be about the playoffs.
Yeah.
We know it's gonna be. Even if it's not about the playoffs, we're gonna get there, and we're gonna have a whole thing. And Tommy's gonna be like, "Oh, 2003." We're gonna be like, "No, no, let's not. I don't wanna. Let's do 2022 things or something."
I have a feeling he's gonna be a handful. He's gonna be very high energy on the show.
That's how he is in the booth all the time. You gotta rein him in.
He was when we went to Charlotte because I met up with it, or Jack and I met up with him in the airport while we were waiting for Will to come pick us up, and he was very it took him a little bit to kind of come down from that high of meeting everybody, because he was like very high energy for like the first 20 minutes, and Jack and I were like, you need to take it down a notch.
Oh, there goes Davey.
Oh, we lost Davey.
We lost Davey. What a start to the show. I wonder if he hung up on the call or what happened. There he is.
Hey,
he's back.
Yeah. So Windows 10 decided to install updates on its own. So my computer's still having a hard time realizing the fact that it's using Windows 10 and not wanting, what I want to do that. I'm using a new version of Windows 10. So anyway, I'm back. We're good.
All right.
Hopefully that again.
Just froze. That's why Matt's here, because you can't trust Davey tonight. Hey, look, he's frozen once again. Oh, man. It's going to be a great show, folks. Coming off a great week of racing. Coming off a great week of racing. At the Nashville Superspeedway, a race that many people said was going to suck, and then look at that, it didn't. Guess we don't know anything, but that's not a surprise. You start with the truck race. Davey, you got the right pick. For the first time this year, you picked the correct winner, so congrats.
Yeah. I mean, I technically kind of picked 2 people, and then you helped me by picking the person that I couldn't pick. But I mean, I wanted to pick Ryan Preece, so I'll take the W. I was so happy for Ryan Preece. Anyone who's not happy for Ryan Preece is a loser.
I knew as soon as that happened, you were going to be pumped, because you're like one of the most vocal Ryan Preece supporters I know.
He doesn't have many. Most of the modified community keeps to itself, but not me, baby. I'm out here riding or dying for Mr. Ryan Preece. I really believe in Ryan Preece. I think he's a really talented race car driver. Went out, got the win. Went out there, raced for it too. I was really happy to see that. It was good stuff, and it was a decent race as well.
It was a good truck race. They were able to go into the corners side by side, which was really cool. We don't see that too often nowadays. And they were able to stay there throughout the corner, so that was good. Probably more because of the cooler track, because I don't think we saw that too much the rest of the weekend. But this was like his audition, right? There's a lot of rumblings that 37 car is not going to be in existence next year, because JTG only has the one charter. There's even talks that they're going to sell their charter, especially with the colleague news last week, which we won't talk about because you've already heard enough about that. But yeah, I don't know. It was a good race, right? Right, Matt? It was a good race.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So trucks have been kind of hit and miss recently, because it used to be like trucks were the best series every week, and then Xfinity's kind of taken that mantle. But it was a decent race. So seeing Ryan Preece win was definitely a little bump upwards. So.
Oh yeah. A good winner always helps a race, no matter how the race was. I mean, obviously, but like a good winner always helps.
Especially when it's Chase Elliott.
Especially when it's Chase Elliott. Them Jeff Gluck pulls just to be bussin'.
Oh, for sure.
Saturday, a really good Xfinity race. So again, I see a trend that I'm going to hold off on my opinion. Kyle Busch wins number 100, which is big just for the fact that he said he was going to stop running these races when he got to 100, and he's not. But
well, he did mention that Gibbs hasn't sold any races for him in the 54 for next year. So
I heard the opposite though.
Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe I know nothing. I don't know.
You're probably right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he actually I think he's gonna. Doesn't he have 2 races left this year as well?
He's got Atlanta and then somewhere else. Sorry.
Yeah. I think. I mean, obviously he's gonna run those out because he's probably extremely contractually obligated to do those.
Yeah.
But like, I who knows? Kyle Busch. Who knows what Kyle Busch is gonna do?
I hate the argument that I saw popping up again on Saturday because, Kyle Busch reached a milestone. So we always have to talk about his exploits in the lower divisions of NASCAR. I hate, and I'm okay with the way the rules are right now, but the fact that Cup drivers can't run every single race, I get why it's a rule, but I don't like it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was cool when Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski were fighting for a nationwide championship in 2010. I thought it was cool when Clint Boyer won a nationwide title in 08 or 09, whatever year it was, that he somehow won a title. Or when Kyle won his down in the nationwide series for Gibbs. Because, and we keep hearing this about Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, he visits every local dirt track every single week, and it's growing his fan base. But then when we do it on our own circuit, we don't like it. You know what I mean? I don't.
That's a good point.
Let him run. And I think and then you hear all the drivers go, oh, well, he makes us better. Yeah.
It is kind of like, it is kind of like, it's neither here nor there, right? And, there's pros and there's cons to it. I mean, I personally think that when Cup drivers aren't in the race, we're more likely to see a really good race. This isn't the case every time, but it is fun to see the young drivers get those seats. And I know that's not also always possible because of money and stuff, but I like it. I mean, I like the way it is now. I think it's fine. I think it like, so I know this is really hard to enforce. I really like the argument that I've seen a lot when Kyle Busch started his own team was like, oh, you should have to start your own team, or you should have to choose a team that's, I don't know how being locked into the field works in Xfinity, if it's any different from Cup, but like something like that where it's maybe not like a team that's necessarily like Joe Gibbs driver can't run for Joe Gibbs in the Xfinity series. Like I think that's pretty fun. It made Kyle Busch really work for a lot of races. He never won one, but he drove the hell out of his own race cars, and I thought that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. The main problem me and a lot of people had with it was you had guys like Logano and Keselowski and Kyle Busch running so many races that there was these younger dudes that weren't getting a shot because of it. Like you can look at a guy like Parker Kligerman who was in the Penske system and never got a shot because it was like, well, we got Brad and Joey in the car for the whole season. So like, what car is he going to drive? And it is difficult to enforce that. What you were saying about, forcing Cup drivers to run for a different team, because then you could do what Chase Briscoe did at Charlotte, which is just take a BJ McLeod car or take a Stuart Haas car and slap a BJ McLeod Racing logo on it and be like, oh, it's a different team. So yeah. It wasn't as big of a deal in like the 90s and 2000s because you had very little like crossover like that. Like guys like Dale Earnhardt were running for their own teams or whatever. Or you had, in 2010, Biffle drops down and runs for Bruco or whatever. But now there's such an incentive for teams to double up on the series that you kind of can't enforce that. Yeah,
but the other issue is the money issue, and that's the one we can't avoid in motorsports, right? When you got those big name drivers, you can bring in a sponsor. There's the whole point of a car. Kyle Busch is in the cars. He can only race 5-7 races, whatever it is. I think it's 5 now. He can potentially bring in sponsorship for a guy like Ty Gibbs. He can bring in sponsorship. We kind of saw that with Josh Berry. I know Berry's not a Cup driver, but brought in that Tire Pro sponsorship to help him, but then it's also going to help Sam Mayer now as he takes over that 8 car. It's a money thing. If they went to those lower teams, though, they'd be helping the lower teams get better, and the higher. It's a mess. It's our mess.
It is a mess. It is a mess.
I think one of the other downsides to go along with what you're saying about missing Cup drivers is it kind of dilutes the pool of talent. Like you're taking, so guys like Chase Elliott or Ricky Stenhouse or even Brad, when he won his title, shined so much because they were beating Cup dudes like week in, week out. And now you have a situation where people are like, Brandon Jones could be going to Cup despite having done pretty much nothing in however long he's been with Gibbs or whatever, or guys like Brian Scott or Daniel Hamrick who couldn't even win a race get Cup rides out of it. Yeah,
that was Brian
that
Scott.
one hit,
brought back
that one hit really
Scott.
Close to home though with the Hamrick.
And that's coming from the perspective of somebody who was a fan. I mean, I'm still a fan of Hamrick, and I liked Brian Scott when he ran in the Nationwide Series, but he had no business going Cup racing.
And that was my last main point exactly, because we've now we're like, okay, do you have money? Are you a young guy? Do you have money? Okay, come drive for our team. Oh, you want to move up to Cup? Okay, here's Quinn Houff with less races than Davey has professionally.
Hey, Justin Haley, we know how you haven't won a single race outside of or you basically backed into every win you've ever had. Want to go full-time Cup racing next year?
It's fair, right? It's all a fair critique, but in the end, what do we know?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely.
It's called fake racers for a reason. So.
Yeah.
Look at that.
He did the thing.
Gets it.
This is we're a bunch of real fake racers.
Something we do know is that Kyle Larson is on the most dominant tear in the sport in recent memory. Obviously he won. I don't think there's much you can talk about him winning because he dominated, led 250-ish laps.
My man was by himself.
He was
doing all right.
Code.
Only reason he didn't win stage 1 is because they decided to pit because they don't need those stage points.
Yeah.
Those stages are real important.
I get it. I got a kick out of Cliff Daniels as crew chief, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
A few weeks ago, he's like, "Yeah, we're not interested in taking the points lead," and now they've knocked like 130 points out of Denny Hamlin's points lead.
But to be fair, they've done that by like racking up playoff points.
They haven't finished outside the top
brim.
2 in almost 2 months.
I'm not surprised that Cliff Daniels is doing well. Following Jimmy Johnson as closely as I did last year, I was a really big fan of Cliff Daniels. I'm sure I expressed that at some point to you, Joe. But I'm not surprised at all. Cliff Daniels has got that car figured out. I'm happy for him. I'm really happy for him because he worked really well with Jimmy. And not much else to say other than that. Kyle Larson did his Kyle Larson things this season. The rest of the field, though, wow, that was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. We did that all at once.
I turned the race on mid stage 2 and saw Ricky Stenhouse battling for second, and I was like, "What world are we in?"
Yep. That Ross Chastain at the end was incredible.
He won me some money, and I am so happy for it. They had these like pools of drivers, and he had
responsibly kids.
Yep, exactly. He had the longest odds. It was like Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon, and DiBenedetto or Reddick. I don't remember which of the two. I know it was one of the two. And he had the longest odds, and I'm like, all right, he was second in 10-lap speed in practice. Let's go for it. And look at that. They did good. Terrifying though, because it's Ross Chastain, and you never know when he's gonna be a bonehead.
It was a really impressive run. I was thoroughly impressed. He won me over a little bit. I've been a huge, massive critic of Ross Chastain. I always have loved him. I always thought he was a really talented race car driver, but just suffered from, whatever mistakes come from, just being a bit of a silly race car driver. He
gets the red mist like worse than any driver I think I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, that whole situation with Kevin Harvick and Darlington that kind of kicked this off.
Yeah.
That was like so blatantly kind of his fault. Like, as much as I don't like Kevin Harvick, like, it was so much like Kevin Harvick's a D-bag, but like Ross Chastain was he wasn't in the wrong, but he was definitely not in the right.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, that's not good. And ever since then, it's been a downhill slope for him as far as like making moves like that. But really, really good run. He kept us cool. Ross Chastain on the long run. It's not exactly what I would expect as things that would go well, but he did really well. I was really, really happy for that.
I'm just glad he got that Ganassi opportunity after having it taken away by the FBI.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But another big story was obviously Chase Elliott getting DQ'd for 5 loose lug nuts. Don't know how that happens, especially how you kept the wheel on when we saw Quinn Houff couldn't even keep his wheel on for a lap. That they didn't penalize the team for, so what that tells me that was a wheel issue, or it was a Goodyear issue. So,
well, I heard a rumor that they didn't torque the lug nuts before the race started. Is what people were saying. So they were basically just like hand tightened on.
But the thing is, they didn't penalize them anything.
Yeah,
so,
which is weird.
Yeah,
because they would have penalized them if it was improper installation.
Yeah.
Unless they couldn't determine that, which I don't know how you determine that.
Yeah, either that or they didn't torque them, and then NASCAR was like, "What happened?" And they're like, "Oh, we don't know." That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's possible, like, because it looked like the wheel was maybe still on when they got up and hit the wall, and it came off that. Was that how it happened? Like, there was never a good replay of it, but it could be that the wheel was maybe on when it hit the wall, and it sheared some of the wheel, and that's maybe how they couldn't. Who knows if it came off like that or not? But yeah, that was all the rotor failures, all the brake, all that. That was another thing. But Chase Elliott, sorry, didn't mean to skip ahead.
People are obviously angry, right? Oh, he lost the wheel, or the lugs were. Why does he lose the stage points? Because it's in the rule book. And I also saw oh well, what if the wheel would have fell off earlier? You would have lost your crew chief for 4 races. So would you rather lose 50 points? Or Alan Gustafson for 4 races. I know which one I'd rather lose.
Points don't matter anyway.
Yeah, no, the points don't matter. I think
I'd rather have Alan Gustafson. Because that gives him a better shot of winning.
I think they were Chase was arguing for his playoff point that he won earlier in the race.
Yeah.
And, to an extent, I kind of get it, but also at the same time, there's enough radio chatter for NASCAR to determine that the team knew that they had lugs loose. And going in and pitting, where'd they finish? 19th or some
13th.
crap? They finished at the back. They didn't finish very well at all. Losing a lap and finishing in the mid-20s wouldn't have hurt you as much as this hurt you.
If I recall correctly, they mentioned it on the broadcast too.
Yep.
Chase was saying he thought he had a loose wheel, and Rick Allen brought it up. So
yeah. So at that point, if you think you're going to get nabbed, maybe they didn't think it was as bad as it was. I don't know how. But if you think you're going to get nabbed, at the end of the race and you're running 13th, bring it down pit road and tighten the lugs and send them back out. That way you keep your points.
Yep.
But oh well, they didn't do that. Got DQ'd. Yep. That's the book.
That's the book. We all sign up for the rules.
Before we get off this though, I want to go a quick tangent about it. I love that the lug nut rules came into place because it was in 2014 when NASCAR said they were going to stop enforcing it. And so then teams were like, oh, okay, well, we'll just put 4 lug nuts on because it's faster. And then all of a sudden in 2016, everybody's getting loose wheels like crazy. And teams are like, we've got to do something about this. What the heck, NASCAR? And it's it's your fault. Just put all 5 of them on.
Weird.
You're the ones who decided to not put all 5 on.
We're at fault for something. That's so crazy.
The RTA screwing something up.
The consequences of my own actions.
No, yeah, they were doing. I remember I remember specifically one of the Richmond races right before the end, because it was the last race of the regular season, and someone came down and they're like, "Yeah, he only put 3 lugs on each tire. We don't know if it'll work, but we'll see because we just gained 7 positions on track."
Oh my god!
That's always been that's my big shtick. It's not NASCAR's fault. It's not NASCAR's fault all the time.
It's not, a lot of the time it is, but in some cases, they're doing their best.
Rotor parts being on the track, in the middle of a green flag run, that's probably NASCAR's fault for not throwing it.
NASCAR's fault. I listened to Door Bumper Clear today about that, and they were actually pretty annoyed at all the NASCAR officials who are apparently very lazy nowadays. They would call Tower would call to I don't know, turn 3 spotter or something like that. Hey, there's brake rotors over there, and they would just say, "Is there any debris over there?" And every single time for the past few weeks, the spotter over in that corner for NASCAR is just no, immediately, very clearly hasn't looked for anything, just got that message and just said, "Nah, we're good, we're chilling."
Oh my god.
It's a little iffy. Ruined a lot of races. Apparently, like something shot through the roof of Bubba's car.
Mhm.
Some brake rotor pieces.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was a big issue. Like there
Yeah,
was
I
brake rotor
saw a
pieces
picture
everywhere.
of that. It was the roof right above where Bubba was sitting, right where the windshield meets. It was all caved in, and I think they had to
Jesus,
like tape
man.
it back down or something.
He was
God.
running 11th or 12th when that happened. So anytime 2311 runs good, they have an issue
Yeah.
out of
Yeah,
their
'cause
control.
Because I turned on the race midway through because I missed like the first half, and I was like, "Why is Bubba running like 25th all day? Like, what the? They should have better speed than that." And then I saw that on Twitter later, and I was like, "Oh, that's why."
Yeah.
So-
But apparently, huge issue, and like that wasn't the only time it really screwed, because he had that blown tire as well
Yeah,
from the rotor pieces, and like a bunch of other people had pieces of rotor were hitting it, chunking it around, and like apparently it was kind of a mess, the officiating. And then there was before we move on, I see we don't have it mentioned, but there was that restart debacle, just an absolute mess. I don't know if you know what we're talking about, Matt.
I think I missed that. I
I
don't know what we're
got
talking
it.
about.
Let me explain, please.
Okay,
Explain.
Oh, no.
They
It
get
was
to the
really-
start finish line, and the guy in the flag stand still has the flag regularly displayed. You know, it's not rolled up.
Yeah,
Not giving them a moment to go, and then they're like, choose. So the
Yeah.
top like 7 cars take the top.
yeah, yeah. I remember reading about that. Everybody was like, "So NASCAR just didn't tell them they were choosing."
The
Yeah.
only
Everybody was pissed about
Pace
it.
car lights were still on, everything,
Yeah.
the whole nine. Like,
the only guy that did his
unbelievable.
job right was the guy at the end of pit road, I guess, because he they flipped the switch so pits were closed because you were coming to one to
Yep.
go. But
Yep.
oh my
oh my
goodness,
god, so funny.
There
So
was
Oh my god.
the fact that we're looking at these races this weekend, we're saying they were really good and they were great, is a testament to how good the racetrack was, how
Oh,
good
yeah.
the facilities were, because there were so many other issues, right? You had the traffic
Dude.
concerns. They had to delay the start of the race 10 minutes, I think, to let more people get in, which is the complete
Yeah.
opposite of what they did at Kentucky when we went to Kentucky for the first time, and it
They
ruined
literally
that
sent
track.
people home.
Yeah,
They sent
halfway
people
through the
home in
race, they're like,
Kentucky. Yeah.
nope, get out of here.
Yeah.
So that was good. Good on their part for, but whoever thought,
Trying.
whoever thought, oh, we should take money for parking at the gate.
Yeah. I know.
You're
It's like some of these people have never planned an event before. But yeah, that was rough. The concessions thing was rough, where they ran out of water by lap 40 on a hot southeastern United States day.
not allowing
Like,
coolers.
So when I went to Sonoma in 2017, I think, whatever your Harvick one, that happened. It was like 108 degrees, and they ran out of water by like the 2/3 mark. It was bad.
Dude.
So I basically just stayed hydrated from all the free cans of Monster they were giving out.
But were you allowed to bring a cooler in?
Yeah. Sonoma lets you bring coolers in.
That's-
so
Yeah.
so you could like bring your own stuff. But I was like, oh, we're out of drinks. I'm gonna get water, and I go up there, and they're like, yeah, we're out. It's like, oh,
Yeah, that's
well,
that's
I guess I'll die then.
Every
I will
track,
say
every track allowed coolers before the pandemic,
Yeah.
and now
And
for
even
some,
then, like when we were in Charlotte, they allowed you to bring in a clear one. I don't know why Nashville had a problem with it. So-
yeah. It is a little weird. Like because I get it's like before the pandemic they would like go through the
Well,
cooler. They'd like
yeah.
do
Yeah.
it.
it's not the clear bags. It's like an actual like foam, or not foam, but like the soft-sided cooler.
Yeah.
Like you can plastic bags and stuff. Those are fine. Because I'm assuming you could like if you didn't have a clear cooler. I don't even know if that such a thing exists.
They're like the soft one. They're similar to soft. Have you ever seen like the clear backpacks people will
Yeah.
take to race? It's like that.
Okay. Well,
So, yeah.
I will say I wanted like ever since the no coolers thing has kind of been happening, I've been wanting to like get one of those clear backpacks and just fill it with ice with drinks in the middle. Like it wouldn't be effective at all, but it'd be pretty
Yeah.
funny looking for like 30 minutes.
Yeah. And then you just be carrying around a backpack full of
Bag
water.
of water.
I wonder if it would like leak through the zipper. You just have like a really slow draining fountain on your back.
modern problems call for modern solutions.
I might have to test this out now. I have one.
I do
We
too.
gotta- we have to do.
Watch
We have
next week's show to see the result.
fake racers clear backpack coolers.
Yeah.
Just put ice in it. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's a no go. That's a no go. And that if they make those same mistakes, if we come back to Nashville,
Which we are.
it's not going to spell good news for the track, I think,
Yeah.
because it really did hurt Kentucky a lot. Like
Mhm.
Kentucky had issues with the racing, but everything else on top of that was just like it was gravy for people who didn't want to go there again.
If you can't get the fans in the stands, you can't keep the race at the track. I don't care what your TV numbers look like. I don't care what your racing looks like. If you can't keep the fans in the stands, that's
Look at
why
Rockingham.
well,
A little bit, but similar problem.
We go to these tracks twice that we used to only go to once, and we see less ticket sales. We go to these tracks now that we're gonna go, like Michigan's a track we're only going to go to once now, and the crowds were getting bigger and bigger the last couple of years, from what I could tell. So now I'm assuming it's gonna look really good. Oh, look, we have all these fans here. Okay, let's give Michigan a second race back. You know what I mean? And I don't think anyone's gonna ask for that except me. But that's the problem.
Yeah, and if it's in a place in like the Southeast, which lives and breathes racing, like Charlotte or Daytona or Talladega, like yeah, people are going to go every time. But if you're targeting a new market like Chicago or Kansas or Michigan or whatever, like those people aren't typically like you don't think of racing when you think of those places. Like you think of other sports. So people probably aren't going to be dedicated enough to sell out like 100,000 plus seat racetrack multiple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Racing was good though this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, like
hot, slick, the package.
It's crazy. If you have a good racetrack, you can have a good race.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was off throttle time. Who would have thought?
Well, so
mechanical grip.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is where I stand on this issue. It's not always the package's fault. Sometimes it's the track's fault.
Yeah.
Texas is definitely the track's fault. Because look at Homestead Homestead has been good with this 550 package, so it can work. It's not that it can't work. You know what I mean? But like Charlotte hasn't been good. But Charlotte's only kind of got because it's the home and it's the 600. But Atlanta's been decent, not great. Maybe let's forget this year's race.
Yeah,
I think we can also think like Atlanta is one of its same vein as how Nashville was. I think the track helps the racing tremendously.
Yeah, and that's one of the benefits too of Homestead is it's a multi-groove track, which I think that's the problem with Charlotte and Texas is they're both single groove, and then they slather the whole track in PJ1, and it's like okay, cool, now it's even more single groove. So. Like, what do you expect is going to happen? Everybody's just going to run single file the whole time.
I'd be really interested to see, I don't know what the chemical makeup of the resin that they used on the track for Nashville was. I don't know how that works, if it would work on asphalt even. I'd love to see its effects compared to the PJ1.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we should add anything to the racetrack. Also, the PJ1 is going to be on those racetracks for like a million years, apparently, because we can't get it the frick off.
Yeah, I remember reading that they were like, yeah, we can't get the PJ1 off Texas. And I was like, what? How do you even do that?
I remember last year there was people were like, "Oh, it's stained with the PJ1," and I was like, "It's stained? Wait,
what do you mean?"
Oh my god!
Hey, just
we really ruined Texas.
Yeah,
they really did.
For a mid NASCAR race.
It's one of those things where it's like Texas wasn't fantastic. But it could produce good racing. The one I always referred people to is 2015 fall race when you had Brad Keselowski led like 250 laps and then Jimmy ran him down at the end of that race and literally just hounded him for like 40 laps trying to pressure Brad into making a mistake. And that was a fantastic race. And then they were like, all right, so that was cool. What if we knocked all the banking down in turns 1 and 2? And then because you have to take that corner, so now that it's super flat, that means it's a single groove. But then because we knocked the banking down, now the corner speeds in 3 and 4 are lower, so that means you run it wide open, so it's also single groove. What if we did that?
That's a good idea.
And then everybody's like, well, it sucks. Who would have seen this coming?
PJ1, put grip in the track. Hold on.
I will cover it in awesome sauce. Maybe that'll fix it.
Yeah. They need to get DW back in the booth and tell him to lay down some Tide and get some brooms and rub it into the track a little.
Maybe they should actually try that because it worked for when they spilled jet fuel all over it. So
they ended up that patch of pavement too. They had to dig it up and repave it at Daytona. Like,
did they really?
Yeah.
I only ever saw it once. Did you guys ever see Tide ran a commercial after the 2012 Daytona 500 about like, look how effective our soap is?
I remember.
And it was the whole track on fire and then them using Tide to clean it off.
I remember. That was fantastic marketing. God.
But, good racetracks will make good racing.
Yeah.
The last thing that I have on our sheet A lot of people last year were like, we're going to the wrong track. We can't go back to if we're going to go to Nashville, we shouldn't go to the Superspeedway. We're going to ruin this market. We're going to ruin this market. I said, no, we're not, because it's a unique racetrack, and we need more unique tracks. I was right. Everyone else was wrong. I don't want to hear otherwise.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I was definitely wrong.
I'm willing to admit that I was wrong there. So,
well, and plus, if you looked at like not the recent trip, but like the most recent trips, it wasn't particularly great racing.
Yeah.
But I will say, whatever they did worked. The track was great. The racing was fantastic. And I don't know if this is a symptom of the broadcast or maybe this is the cause for the broadcast being so good. The atmosphere, the locale, everything about it, it felt like an event. It felt like the atmosphere was popping. The Nashville kind of vibe was going, and it was like, it wasn't like campy, it wasn't like corny, it was actually kind of good, in my opinion. Like, I actually enjoyed, some of the kind of what I would normally call like the corny pre-race stuff. Like, it was actually like pretty good. I enjoyed watching it. It was like, it felt like an event, and it felt like we were somewhere rather than just, hey, we're 2 hours outside of Atlanta.
And that's one of the things a lot of people will dig at NBC, mostly because of Rick Allen, which I think he gets a little too much crap, but I do understand that Rick Allen has not been on his A game for the last couple of years. But NBC's like presentation, it's the same thing in NFL and in hockey, is top notch. Like, they know how to make something seem really big. So, and they did a pretty good job this weekend too.
They saw everyone's complaints. They saw everyone's complaints from the Fox coverage, and they're like, all right, let's not do that.
Yeah.
And so Fox runs Race Hub every day of the week. So NBC has been running like their NASCAR America or whatever, Motor Mouths or whatever, but they've been running it on Peacock instead. So it's a little harder to get to, which I think isn't a bad thing, because then only the people that really want it get to it. So then you don't have to go into your pre-race coverage and be like, oh, we can't talk about this because we talked about it 3 days this week. Like,
a fair point.
It gives you more topics to talk about.
Yeah, that is, again, to get on this whole broadcast thing, one of the things that absolutely drives me crazy about the most recent NASCAR broadcast is just the lack of info. When was the last time you saw at the end of a race, like, here's the finishing order? Like, here's the current standings. Like, they don't even go, like, they're just like, Kyle Larson wins again later.
Run it across the bottom. That way it's there, but we're not going to actually.
Or just do like a quick graphic and just plug in names and numbers. Like, I can do it for a Makita Truck Series race, but you guys can't do it for a broadcast.
Well, they can.
No, I agree with. I definitely agree with that. It was, it gives. First of all, it kind of gives what everyone wants. Like, everyone wants to see the little guy succeed. Everyone wants to know those stories. You have to go in and find those stories, though. And a lot of the broadcasts don't want to go in and find those stories. If you give me the full 40 rundown, I'm sure we'll find a driver that finished 22nd that doesn't normally finish 22nd. Corey LaJoie finished 16th. And we got like a small shout out, but like.
Yeah, like and we got that shout out because Junior just mentioned it in the middle of Kyle Larson's burnout.
Yeah, that was probably the only time he could get it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there was no other chance he would have had.
It's one of those things where, like, something that lives rent free in my head is listening to Alan Bestwick kind of thumb through the results as you hear the instrumental "The Fuel" by Metallica play from the old NBC broadcasts, and I'm like, why can't you guys just do that? Like, there's no post-race coverage anymore. It's just like, and it's over, and then they just bounce.
Yeah,
it's the thing that irritates me the most.
And it's not even like it's not even like, oh, there's no post-race coverage, and it's like a whatever complaint. Like, there's like they don't even try to go through at the very bare minimum is results of the race, right? We don't really get those ever. We don't get a run through anything.
Yeah.
Look them up on your NASCAR app. If you want them, look it up on the app.
Yeah.
Come on. Stop being lazy.
Right? No, I want it on my TV.
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself. You figure out who had problems during the race.
Quick tangent, but the other thing that irritates the heck out of me about broadcasts, and I think Fox is the one that mainly does this, is mostly on super speedways. They'll show, they have the ticker which shows like the top 20, but instead of showing intervals, they'll show manufacturer logos. And I'm like, that doesn't tell me anything. Well, I want to know, like, who's in the lead draft, who's a lap down. This isn't telling me anything. Oh, here's how many miles per hour they went lap to lap. Like, without context, that means nothing.
Yep.
Like, just show us relevant information so I can watch the friggin' race.
Yeah.
So.
And stuff like manufacturer logo should be attached to the.
Yeah, put it on like the left side or something.
Yeah,
you know,
it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
A ticker. I mean,
yeah, or just a ticker that scrolls through with like the how many seconds behind they are as it live goes by. Yeah.
I mean, I
have my own handful of issues about the ticker being on the left side of the screen, but I won't go into that too much.
Box sounds great. I don't know what NBC calls theirs, but
yeah,
if they do it right, it presents more information. And I think they were going for the F1 look. It doesn't work when you have 40 cars.
Yeah. The other thing is, okay, so I actually am going to get into this tangent now. So from a design standpoint, TVs are in a 16:9 ratio. They are much wider than they are tall. Race cars are much wider and longer than they are tall. But then you take up a third of the screen with this giant ticker, and then you're shoving a square peg into a round hole, basically. So when there's a car flyby shot, it's taking up like the entire screen that you can see. And it's like, there's so much dead space up at the top of the screen. Why is the ticker not there? Like with F1, they can kind of get away with it because every single driver has a 3-letter abbreviation. So it's just this little sliver. But with NASCAR, you can't do that because there's 40-something drivers. I mean, how are you going to abbreviate the Bush brothers differently? Their names both start K and then BU. You can't, like... So... that, and there's constantly driver changes in NASCAR, and like with back markers, so they have to take up this giant chunk of the screen. And then like super speedways, it's the worst because there can be stuff there can be stuff happening at the front of the pack that you can't see that's being blocked by the ticker.
Yep.
It irritates the heck out of me. It's one of the little things about broadcast that just annoys me from a design standpoint.
I will say it was one of the things that it really got on my, like a lot of people were like, oh, you just hit change. It's like, no, the side ticker is really jarring. Like it's a square now. It's just weird.
It like cuts off that. And again, the way they film NASCAR is the cars are going right to left most of the time on the screen. So you can't see what they're driving into half the time.
The ticker, obviously.
So I mean, that's my aesthetics rant. Okay.
Why do you think we use a ticker? I mean, it looks better. I don't know.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. So tell you, NBC, you got the graphics. I know you do. I know you got them. So don't tell me you can't do it because you can.
Look, they can definitely do the dirty work. You know who else can do the dirty work, Joe?
Oh, the SRX series at Knoxville. They did the dirty work because they listened to the fans.
They actually did.
And it was,
to be fair,
it was also on dirt, so that was pretty dirty too.
That was
not.
Here, let me get my baseball bat real quick. Knock you upside the head. No, but Davey, we talked about it a lot last week about all these changes we thought needed to happen, and like we did it the day before they announced all the changes, and then the podcast released after they announced all the changes. So we didn't look very smart, but hey, here we are. We didn't get canceled because guess what? You can't cancel a YouTube show. You can definitely, but
yeah,
please don't. Please don't.
I definitively canceled Makita Truck Series Season 3. You 100% can cancel something.
That's not a challenge.
Yeah.
Please don't do it. We're good people.
They shortened the main event up to help fit into the TV window. They shortened the heats. They made it so your average position between the heats, which was my big gripe, was your starting position for the main. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of cautions.
Yeah.
There are a lot of cautions, but they don't count the caution laps now, so that's good.
Good idea. I like that idea.
I don't know. What big takeaways from dirt?
Other thing they changed, they put colors on the tickers, which I was saying, I was like, why are they not doing that? And then they did it. Yeah. I was like, awesome.
And they're gonna.
I will say. Yeah. Go ahead. No, you go, Joe.
They're gonna keep the guys in the same colored cars too each week.
Yeah, when they initially announced that they were gonna change it up, I didn't get that because like IROC, well, they originally did it in IROC, and that was a problem because you had a different driver and different car every week. But like the later seasons, every driver had their own color, and I was like, why would you not stick with it? Because like you had Tony Stewart in the orange car, Michael Waltrip in the blue car, Like a lot of the color choices felt really intentional.
Yeah.
Like, of course, Tony's going to drive the orange car, and then it didn't make sense to me that they were going to change it up every week. So I was glad they ended up sticking with that.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I mean, even if we sat here and we took the racing away, a huge improvement just for the show in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything that they did, huge improvement for the show. Like as an event, as a whole event, it was a lot better. The racing, I think it really suffered from a lot of the same things that Bristol dirt kind of suffered with Cup. And it seemed like a relatively ill-prepared racetrack for the cars.
Yeah.
The racing started in the day, so it was a little dry, and then they couldn't really bring the track back. It seems like, didn't really. I don't know what the decision making there, what the choice was. I would imagine there was a good reason for it because we have some serious dirt guys in the race.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I didn't think the racing was too bad. It was hard to pass, which isn't always fun, but like, it was still. I mean, I still had a good time watching it, but I'm also really open to this series and really excited for it in general. So I'm a little biased.
Yeah, and saying that it was a huge improvement is also saying a lot because the first week was really good. Like their presentation was excellent. Just hearing Alan Bestwick's voice again is awesome. But they did such a good job at making the whole thing feel like an event, and like it helped that the race was pretty good too. So to say that they improved a ton is really saying a lot, that they took something that's really good and then they were like, we're not going to get complacent. There's ways we can make this better and make it more accessible for fans. And I think they did a really good job of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Can I be a negative Nancy?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Yeah, don't. Never mind.
Wait, you don't make the rules? I do.
Yeah, this isn't my show.
No.
I'm not used to not hosting.
It was weird. It was weird them the grandstands not being packed. That was just a weird eyesore, because I was like, oh, how did this not sell out? Like, I felt like that. But I guess Thompson is a smaller facility too. I don't know. Why do I always think it's Thompson? And I don't even know why. I guess because they're kind of similar tracks. They're not the same. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to offend any mod drivers from the Northeast. But
two northeastern bull rings, kind of. I mean,
actually, no, I won't say that. Never mind.
Go ahead. Say it. No, say it.
I was going to say modified drivers don't know how to use the internet, but.
Right. That's why there's no Ryan Priest fans out there.
Yeah.
Let's just circle on back to that.
Here come the Todd Zaggity stands. Okay.
I'm
right here.
I had a big gripe against Danica last week. Still don't know if I have that same gripe because she still didn't. Oh, I only raced on dirt once. I'm like, that's not something you should be saying when you're supposed to be the expert up in the booth.
She's also kind of making herself sound like she doesn't know anything about racing, which is weird because she's been a race car driver for like 10 years.
Exactly.
So...
Exactly.
Yeah. I do kind of wonder what if there's a direction someone's telling her to go, or if she's just doing that herself. Maybe that's like her sense of humor. She's always kind of seemed a little dry. So I don't know what the decision making there is. I don't know if I agree with it, whatever it is.
Yeah. But that she did get better though from last week, I thought. And then their whole explanation of the fun flag. Oh my gosh. That got me. Poor Alan Bestwick.
Poor Alan Bestwick. Bless his heart. God bless that man.
Man, I hope we get more racing on CBS because they have we talked about it, but they have this like all-star team. They have Matt Yoakum down in the pits.
Yeah.
Brad Doherty down there. I was a little skeptical about that, but man, he fits down there so good with those guys.
He does.
Just
Dude, that shot of Brad Doherty interviewing Haley Deegan was hilarious. Because like he's already really tall and she's stupid short, and they were like, "Let's just pick the two most mismatched people."
They did that on purpose.
She tweeted something like, "I should have stood on the hood of my car" or something like that.
God,
Michael Waltrip,
really good.
Michael Waltrip gave an awesome interview once again.
I love Tony's interview saying he'd go to therapy if Michael Waltrip won that dirt race.
Do you think he was like panicking when Waltrip led like 50 laps in last week's race? And he was like, "Oh God."
Paul
my
Tracy
goodness.
seems to think that Michael Waltrip is the reason for all his problems, but I happen to remember Paul Tracy absolutely punting Waltrip last week, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And also Paul Tracy just kept hitting the wall on the restarts, and I don't know how you do that. How you do it like every single time, and like 3 times he spun out, he kind of spun out by himself. So he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go fight Michael Waltrip." I'm like, "Yeah, you're probably not, because you're." And then he at the start, he's like, "Oh, Danica, what kind of shoes do you have on?" And I was done. I was sitting there watching the race with my mom, and I had to fill her in on that.
Which I have to imagine it was another. Okay, so
God.
I feel like for those of you who haven't seen it, last year for the Indy 500, Paul Tracy in their pre-race coverage made a note about like the neon yellow shoes that Danica was wearing, and he was like, "Oh, are you passionate?" Or no, I think it was somebody else asked her if she's like, "Oh, is it for Pagano or whatever?" Because the Menards thing. And then after that, they go back to the booth, and Paul Tracy's like, "I like a good pair of shoes on a girl or whatever," like basically telling everybody that has a foot fetish. And then
Weird,
I have a feeling that's him trying to lean into the joke, but I feel like Danica's still not in on it. So, like.
It's
Paul
like
Tracy's a weird guy.
it's like
he's a man. Yeah.
your buddy goes into the bar, right? And you know he's trying to spit some game, and he just keeps failing.
Paul, stop,
Stop it, buddy! Come on.
Like, yeah.
Let's try
If
another
that pickup
place.
line worked the first 28 times. It'll definitely work this time. That's why you've gone home alone every time.
Yeah.
But
That's why you got cyberbullied off of Twitter, was because it's been totally working this whole time.
Paul Tracy.
Yeah.
Paul Tracy.
It's just fun to see him get wiped out. I don't know. I don't know what.
Hey, let me tell you though, SRX is the reason we're even having this conversation. I think that's proof enough that it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Have fun.
You guys have to talk about Michael Waltrip and Paul Tracy this year, so.
Didn't think I would be doing that.
Haley Deegan finally finishing top 5 in something.
Yeah, she had a good run.
Good run. Very good run.
Ernie Francis, no one knew who he was. And look, he's second in points right now.
Listen, those Trans Am cars are in. Like I know Trans Am isn't what it once was. Trans Am is not even a shell of what it once was. But those cars are still hard to drive. Those cars are still some of the coolest cars to drive in America. Ernie Francis is a stupid talented race car driver, and I think he's got a real shot at like making something happen this season in SRX.
Yeah.
I know the season-long championship isn't like, ooh, but like still.
Yeah, isn't he like 22 and he already has like 6 Trans Am titles?
24.
Oh my god. That's so ridiculous.
He's literally won it every year he's been competing in it. I think.
Yeah, and those cars are still no joke. They still go 200 plus on the Daytona road course. Like
God.
They had him at Belle Isle last year. It was crazy watching those cars.
They're gonna have him in Nashville, but I don't plan on being there for the day that they're racing. But they're gonna be in Nashville too. I wish I had an opportunity to see him, but is what it is.
Well, speaking of Nashville.
Speaking of Nashville, kind of. Right. Eventually.
The NTT Data IndyCar Series.
My man, dude,
flawless.
The longest basketball player in the world does not have the reach you just made. God.
I just like the vibe tonight, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I can't.
No, I can't do it. I can't.
No, but IndyCar was at Road America. Once again, Justin Newgarden dominates. And once again, Team Penske loses on a late restart. I'm sad.
Yeah. That was before we get into this very sad finish, I really love Joseph Newgarden, so I'm disappointed. What a race! What a freaking race! Oh my god, insanity! Like you couldn't stop having things happen. Unbelievable, man! I couldn't keep my eyes off it.
One thing I did learn from that is Roman Grosjean is a late breaking god. Dude, the amount of like dive bombs that he made, and I was like, he's going in the gravel, and then he'd make it stick every time, and I was like, oh my god,
it's really impressive. He kind of has the philosophy that I kind of have. I had this when we were in Charlotte at GoPro, because I'm so friggin' large.
He's big time, yeah.
I'm not big time, and I'm just saying, I'm not big time. I'm just saying I understand what he's doing. Like he was looking at the car next to him. looking at their braking point, braking just a half second later.
Yeah.
Every single time. Every time he was side by side with someone, he would brake that half second later. And like if he was on the outside heading into 1, 2, 3, whatever that really tight left-hander is after the long straightaway. Like if he was on the outside of that corner or something, it wouldn't work. But every time he was making the pass, making the move, he would do that. He would make that just slightly later braking than the car next to him, make it work every time. Super impressive.
There was one too where because I was like, oh, it's because he was an F1 that has to do something with it. And then he was side by side with Marcus Ericsson, who's also an F1 veteran. Mm-hmm. And Ericsson braked later than him, and Grosjean just drove in deeper than him and made it stick. And I was like, how are you doing this?
Yeah. Honestly, what that shows me, and I kind of have always thought that Romain Grosjean was a much better driver than anyone ever gave him credit for, just because he made some bonehead moves in F1 when he was, especially when he was younger. He has full confidence in that race car already.
Oh yeah.
He has full confidence in the IndyCar and the car that he's driving. I mean, it's so apparent. The braking later, like what you said, like he didn't brake as late, but I mean, he carried the speed, went straight through the corner. Like he just is totally comfortable in an IndyCar. I think that's really cool, by the way, that he's comfortable in an IndyCar because, it's just IndyCar gives me butterflies because it's just so cool, and the cars are cool. The drivers are all cool. Drivers from Formula One, drivers from NASCAR are loving IndyCar, like truly loving IndyCar. It's becoming like what it once was is maybe a tall thing to say, but it's getting back into relevancy. It's just so good.
Yeah, and like they can definitely use that as a selling point, as they're like, hey, 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson, who basically just whooped everybody in NASCAR for 15 years. And that guy Scott McLaughlin, who's basically dominated V8 supercars for the last half decade. Yeah, they both left for McLaughlin, the prime of his career, to come race IndyCar. Like, how big of a selling point is that?
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I know this isn't necessarily like Alex Palou. Like most people probably still don't necessarily know who Alex Palou is. He's not like a household name like I would think Jimmy Johnson is closer to being. But like Alex Palou, he grew up wanting to come to America and race IndyCar.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Like that's not a thing that happens anymore. And the fact that it is a thing, like I think that's so cool that it's becoming that thing again.
Yeah.
Joe, thoughts?
It was a good race, and I was very sad at the end.
He's so pissed about Joseph Newgarden.
I was too, man. Literally 2 weeks in a row. Like, I am so happy I didn't go to Belle Isle. I think I said this last week. I am so happy I didn't go.
You would have watched two Penske wins.
I would have lost it. I would have had my Team Penske hat on, and I would have just took it. I'm gonna take this off. Yikes. It was oh man, it hurts. I don't know if they're ever gonna win this year. They will, but like, it doesn't feel like they will. It hurts.
They have pace. They'll get there. Next race, July, right?
Yep.
July,
4th of July.
Pretty cool.
That day we have IndyCar Mid Ohio and then Cup at Road America, so that will be a.
Ooh.
Oh. Dude.
I forgot Cup's going to Road America. I'm excited for that.
I get to go to where IndyCar is. Boom. Let's put them on a good racetrack. It's crazy. But no, we'll get ready to Chicagoland. Okay. For Road America. Let's give 2 races to Atlanta and take 1 away from Kentucky. Okay, I can see that. Great. Let's take Chicagoland and move it to Road America. Okay.
Can you take it away like Texas?
But I will say, if that opens up like what I imagine, I don't know if it was actually used as like a bargaining chip for this, but I imagine like that's opening up a spot for, the proposed, hopeful, rumored Chicago street course.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool if that happens, dude.
It would be cool.
Oh my god.
It would be different. You know what else is cool? Can you guess?
Circle B Diecast.
There you go.
Are we on a schedule? No.
Segway game is on point today.
Let me tell you, I get better and better every week.
Mine was pretty good. The whole, speaking of Nashville, IndyCar was in Road America. It doesn't quite play. Can't agree with it.
Hey man, 2 out of 3 is still a passing grade, so.
Very much so.
to quote the great Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So okay. Ask your parents, kids.
Yeah. Folks, as always, we always recommend to head on over to CircleBDiecast.com or PlanBSales.com for all of your diecast and apparel racing-related memorabilia. Of course, you can use our code JTN at checkout for free shipping on your order of $20 or more to the United States only. Again, that's code JTN, just like Johto Network. JTN. Just look at our logo. Bada bing, bada boom. We always pick something from the site. I'm kind of putting them on the spot tonight. I do feel like, so I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go
You
first.
didn't put me on the spot. I got something.
All right, go.
I had the tab open. That was
Oh, you want me to
prepared,
go?
so-
Yeah,
All right,
then go. If you're
I
prepared.
want you for pre-order. Daniel Suarez's Tootsie's car from this weekend. Man, pretty freaking cool. Purple race cars need to happen more often. I love it. I love the purple. It's not like an obnoxious purple. It's like kind of like a little closer to a pastel purple. It looks awesome. Trackhouse yet again knocking it out of the park with their schemes. It is available for pre-order for $65. So that is an easy thing to buy. To use code JTN, get free shipping because it is definitely over the threshold, and you won't get charged until it ships. And even then, you won't get charged for shipping. So, Tootsie's, Daniel Suarez, do it.
Save yourself $10.
True.
There you go. Am I up next?
Yep.
Is that how it's going? Oh,
By
okay.
all means.
I was looking at, because I am a huge football fan, the Corey LaJoy 2021 NFL alumni diecast that they have up for pre-order, and 25% of purchase price will be donated to or by Plan B Sales for Folds of Honor. So getting a diecast and supporting your football addiction, and also supporting a good cause. So
Look at that. Look at
Wow.
he's a pro.
Consummate professional.
Yeah.
Just
Step
Making
your
us
game
look
up.
bad. You're just making us
roll
look
in
bad here.
I'm over here like I'm looking at like Ross Chastain. Oh, watermelons! Like I'm like,
Well, I think purple car cool. All right, yeah.
thanks. Thanks.
I probably already recommended this one, but I'm gonna recommend it again because it's an awesome cause that driver Alex
Spilled all over
Bowman
myself.
has been doing this year. It's his ally. It's I forget the foundation, but it's for pet adoptions. It's a really cool looking car. It's always a great cause. Alex Bowman, anytime he wins, they donate $10,000 to a local animal shelter. So go get that diecast to commemorate that, because that is an awesome thing for Ally to do, and it's an awesome thing for Bowman to do, because of course we love pets here at JT.
We do indeed.
Adopt, don't shop.
As you can see.
Look at that Doge.
I don't have
noticed midway through my chair was here, and he's like peeking out from behind my chair.
I noticed it literally the second I logged on. I was like, wait, hold on.
It's
Hold
a
on.
little plush Doge.
Wait a minute.
It's watching us.
I while you were doing that, I on command spilled all over myself, and then when I went down like that, it splashed up and hit me in the face. So while you were finishing reading that, talking about how much we love pets, I was literally sitting there wiping my face off because I'm all wet now. So
You think I was reading something?
that's so wet.
You think I have this scripted out? What? No, but
Yeah,
folks,
we don't do that here.
we don't do scripts. Folks, please use our code JTN, CircleBDiecast.com, Plan B Sales. It helps support us, and it also gets you that free shipping. So it's a win-win-win situation for all three parties involved. Thank you so much for all of your support. Got a lot of support for SRX building. Got SRX Racing this weekend from Eldora. Dirt race number 2.
Mm.
I don't know if we want to pick.
Um,
We want to make some picks. I have a feeling it's not going to be a ringer. Just because Bloomquist didn't look very good, and I don't even know the name of the guy, the local guy from Knoxville, Brian Brown. Is that his name? Brian Brown, I think.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, Brian Brown.
Let's go, Joe. I'm on fire.
Proud of you.
Nailing it.
I'm gonna pick Michael Waltrip.
That is a fantastic pick.
That's what I was leaning towards, if I'm being honest. So
Guess you gotta pick again.
what an a-hole.
it's not very nice.
Is SRX like a standalone thing for Eldora this weekend, or is it kind of coming on with another night of racing?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, they're doing the USAC Silver Crown, the Champ cars. Okay, that's also the same. I was just wondering. I'm thinking about if the track's going to be prepped, because I feel like if the track is maybe prepped a little better, the ringer does well. So I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna go Ernie Francis.
That was my side. God damn it. Oh,
That's
I have to
okay.
get that out.
That one's fine. I've said that. I said that one.
You
I'll
were-
change
you were-
it up. You know what?
We're
You
like
were-
an hour into the show, and I finally messed up.
I'll spite you. You just can't say like a really bad one because then
Yeah.
I've set the precedent. You have to buy a diecast
Oh, okay.
and use code JTN. I have bought a diecast because of it.
It's an
hurt
issue.
a
It's a
lot.
problem. It's a real problem.
Daniel Suarez's Camping World car is gonna look real good here in like a year when I get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rock the boat. I'm gonna say Marco Andretti.
Oh, you're changing it up?
Yeah, I'm changing
Yeah,
it up.
'cause he's
because I
nice.
have never any Francis.
Oh, well, I was gonna. Okay. I got.
If you were gonna do Marco Andretti, I'm just gonna not pick anybody.
That was my third one. No,
What was
I'll
your third
take
one?
my pity, Ernie Francis Jr. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, what was your
Got
third
it.
one?
Got it.
I didn't
was
have
the
a
third
third
one?
one.
Okay,
to be
that's-
honest.
Nobody, the fans.
The fans always win with SRX. It seems like, which is a good thing. The fans also win this weekend with a doubleheader at the Pocono Raceway. That one was good. Because that was the big selling point last year, was the doubleheader at Pocono. It's a great value for the fans. You get 2 races each day. It's a great value. I was going to go last year, and then, pandemic stuff happens.
Yeah, but you have to go to Pocono, though.
Yeah, but also I get to see
Twice.
racing, and I just like racing. So I mean, I go to
Oh,
Michigan.
true.
I went to Michigan twice. So if
Oh,
you're
true.
gonna,
All right, nothing. I just found something out.
what'd you find out?
Nothing. We'll just get to talk
Okay.
about Pocono.
We're talking about Pocono. It's the tricky triangle, folks. Kyle Larson is starting on pole for the Saturday race. I have no idea if there's an inversion for the Cup Sunday race, but we're gonna start with our Truck Series picks for Saturday.
Let me find the entry lists real quick.
I'll link it in the. I'll link all the entry lists in the doc.
Okay, cool.
Davey's pick is. Oh wait, Parker's not racing this week. Never mind.
He withdrew. That was what I was mad about just now. I just saw that he withdrew. It was on the front page of F and J Ski. He withdrew.
I wonder why.
Honestly, they're probably money. I know they totally junked their main intermediate car, so yeah, and then going, I don't know. Maybe they couldn't get I assume they wouldn't want to bring their Nashville car or trucks. So, by the way, the Xfinity and the truck entry lists are there. I'm not going to post the Cup because we all know who's in Cup for the most part.
If you pick Kyle Busch for trucks, though, you're a loser. That's the.
Okay, John Hunter Nemechek.
You're still a loser, but go.
Budget Kyle Busch.
Fine. How about this? Ryan Preece.
Is he racing?
Yep.
He's in the 17 again?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Oh my god, I forgot there's a guy named Lawless in the Truck Series now.
All
Wait,
this Allen.
Joe.
Yeah.
What time are we at right now?
We're at 1:08.
Okay, I'm gonna buy the Ryan Preece diecast. I just
Did you just?
So Davey just
Yes.
intentionally swore so he could buy a diecast.
You know you can buy a diecast without breaking the rules of the show, right?
No, but he likes to
but
make my life.
I can also buy a diecast and make Joe put a bleep somewhere at the end.
Oh yeah. Oh, true. Yeah, you get to buy a diecast and also inconvenience Joe. I see the appeal in this now. Okay.
See what I have to deal with?
Yeah.
These.
I'll buy a shirt too if it makes you feel better.
Buy a Matthew
I'm-
Steelman King of the Jungle shirt. There you go.
I will.
I'm really tempted to go semi-stupid with my pick
Do it.
do it.
because I'm ready to be hurt again. Give me Stuart Friesen.
Yeah, Stewie.
I'm
Stewie.
ready to be let down again.
Gosh, I don't even know.
Betsy.
Zane Smith. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like GMS has to eventually be good this year.
Get into it.
If they're gonna go cup racing, you better get good at trucks. Better not make it like
Screw
your
it.
Xfinity
Just
program where you just shut it down. I don't know. Cup race number 1 on Saturday.
What about Xfinity?
Xfinity Sunday, so we're going in chronological order
weird.
for the weekend.
That's lame.
It's Sunday morning. What, you want them to run 3 Pocono races in one day?
I want all
Yeah.
of them in the same time too, like multi-class racing.
I agree.
I hate it, but okay.
You just need all the Pocono.
Again, if you pick a guy named Kyle,
I'm gonna go Daniel
Kyle
Suarez.
Krisloff is my pick.
There you go. What'd you
I'm
say?
gonna go Daniel Suarez for the Cup race, the Saturday Cup race.
Ooh.
Spicy.
It's a little spicy. Hey, be careful. Can't make that a Latino joke.
That what? Whoa! Whoa! I'm hurt.
You said it, not me. I love Daniel Suarez.
If Trackhouse wins a race
Trackhouse.
this year, that would be awesome. But
I will
I agree.
literally scream if that happens. Oh my
Me
god.
too.
Like I already fangirled a little bit at GoPro, but like when I met Justin Marks, but I'll fangirl even more. So for Cup, I'd be give me Alex Bowman.
yeah, I like
Hey.
it.
It's been Hendrick dominance. I could see him win. Because Alex Bowman's thing is he wins at tracks and then they get taken away and everybody's like, get rid of Pocono. And it's like, just let Alex Bowman win. They'll stop going there then.
Wait, we're not going to Dover and Richmond anymore?
Well,
Damn
that's
right.
so that's the joke. Everybody's like, oh, Dover, you better watch out. So
Uh-oh. Dover?
your time's ticking, your clock's ticking.
Dover, you okay?
Alex Bowman has been my fallback pick if I'm not very sure on who to
Yeah.
pick. So that's a good one because that 48 team's better than what they've run.
Yeah, and at the same time, I feel like the optimistic side of me, because they haven't run particularly well the last couple of weeks, is I'm like choosing to believe that because they're the 48 team, they're taking on the Jimmy Johnson strategy. Be like, we got our wins out of the way. Let's just spitball and see what happens for the rest of the season until we hit the playoffs. So
Would be pretty cool. I like Alex Bowman.
Oh, hey,
he's my favorite driver, so he is okay with me.
there you go. Oh man, this is hard. Chris Buescher gets win number 2 at Pocono.
Ooh, that's
Spicy.
especially spicy. Good heavens.
Roush's program has been better this year.
Behave, Joe. Oh, behave.
Roush has been uncharacteristically good at intermediates this year. Newman had a top 15, I think, in the 600 too, and Newman hasn't been too good this year. I think he's still kind of dealing with last year's 500 crash, if I'm being honest.
Possible.
Which more power to him, I guess. But yeah, Chris Buescher, I think that team they've kind of turned around Roush a little bit. He's still in the playoffs right now. Obviously lost a big chunk after running through Justin Haley's brake rotors, but I think that team can win. That's who I'll pick. Then we move on to Xfinity at noon on Sunday.
Right. I'll go first. I'm going to get Ty Gibbs. Sorry about that, boys.
I feel like I can't wear an Allgaier shirt and then not pick him. So give me Allgaier.
Do it.
That was pretty good. Give me. I'm trying to think. Give me Daniel Hemrick because I pick him every week, and one of these weeks he has to win a race.
Maybe that's why he's not winning, is because you're picking him every week.
Shoot, but I already
Ooh.
picked
Yeah.
him. Dang it!
Well, there's a second race.
Can I? No,
Not for Xfinity, right?
yeah.
Isn't it Xfinity doubleheader?
No, it's just cut
No.
double
I don't know
header.
what I'm talking about. Ignore me, okay?
Right, you're only a fake racer, not a real racer.
Yeah.
It's all fake.
Yeah.
All of it's fake.
I forgot. Okay, to last year during the off season, I was like, "Oh yeah, Jimmy Johnson, if he wants to come back to NASCAR with Ganassi, he can run the 48." And everybody's like, "Your favorite driver runs the 48, Matthew." And I was like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Weird.
wait,
That guy?
Dur.
Weird.
Harrison Burton will be really good this week. I have a feeling. That 20
Mm.
that 20 team's been pretty good as of late.
Mm.
Speed wise, just haven't been able to put things together. Don't know how that is because Jason Ratcliffe is the crew chief on that car, and he got Christopher Bell all those wins. Cup on Sunday. There's an invert, I think, from the Saturday field, or at least there should be if they're using doubleheader rules, unless they're going to use the points formula, which would be really dumb.
Can't wait for Quinn Houff on pole.
No, it's only top 20. It's very specifically only top 20 get in.
Can't wait for Corey LaJoy on pole.
I mean, we had Ryan Preece on pole at Darlington last year for the second race, and then he
Yeah, wasn't it Preece and Ty Dillon, I think, were the front row?
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
then Preece
I don't know
blew
why I
up.
remember that. That's legitimately the only thing I remember about Ty Dillon being in the 13. Is it was like, oh yeah, he ran the hump day car and started second.
He won 2 stages last year, I thought.
Stages don't matter.
And
Stages aren't real.
They can't hurt
Stages are
you.
real. That's true.
Stages are a social construct. All right.
I mean, I agree.
Cup on Sunday. You can't pick the same guy.
Brian Blaney.
All right. I picked Bowman, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I already forgot.
I already forgot my favorite driver.
Again. I'm gonna stick with Hendrick. I'm gonna go with Byron.
Yeah. I hate his
Can't-
car for this weekend though. It's
I don't
like
know if I've seen it.
it's their
I haven't
paint of
seen
the
it.
year. It's white
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
I
got
saw
that
that earlier.
green, and I hate the color green. They passion. Okay, so you took Byron. You took who did you take, Davey? Blaney. I picked Busher already, so it's gonna be a Chevy. Give me Tyler Reddick.
Heyo.
And you
Man, I
changed your
saw that.
color. That's what a jerk.
I
What a
saw
jerk.
that.
I welcome
No,
you
I'm-
into my home. And
I'm
this is
just
what you do.
I'm just going through the different Weezer albums. Don't mind me. Hang on. There's red. There's there's red. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not bored. I promise. This has been a long day.
Button. There we go.
It hasn't. We're at the end of our show, boys. Look at that. We did it.
We did it.
We talked a lot about Nashville, though.
Yeah.
We did. But there was a lot to talk about in Nashville.
It
Yeah.
was. It's the Music City.
The Music City. Did you hear?
You know?
Did you hear that it was the Music City?
I did. I'm a little mad. Kyle Busch baited or like did the bait and switch with. He's like, we're gonna smash the guitar, and then he was like, ha,
Smash the
prank.
dang guitar! What the hell?
Like, literally, you
I
can
told-
smash this one because it's Sam Bass didn't paint
you
it.
smashed the really nice one, and
Yeah,
then
now
they gave
Sam
you
Bass
like
is
this
dead.
crappy one, and then you're like,
Cares.
no, we're gonna keep this one.
I know that was just because he wanted to avoid, like, social media wasn't even a big deal back when
Yeah.
he did that, and social media was still exploding when he destroyed that guitar. And I think it's cool. I think it's cool that he did that. I think it's funny. I think it's very Kyle Busch.
I was a dedicated Kyle Busch hater at the time, and even then, I was like, all right, that's kind of cool.
Dude, it's friggin' gnarly.
Like, it makes me kind of mad because Sam Bass put a lot of work into that guitar, but at the same time, it's like, when are you ever going to get the chance to smash a guitar on a stage? Like, every single kid watches The Who like destroy all, like spike their guitars into their amps, and they're like, I want to smash a guitar.
Yeah.
And then Kyle
every
got the
single
chance
person.
to do it, and everybody was like, oh.
Plus, like, personally, like me, I know he like gave some, like he destroyed it a little bit, and he gave like pieces to his crew.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'd be awesome to like really like just destroy the guitar, display it. Like, that makes it so cool.
Oh,
It makes
yeah.
it so interesting. It's unique.
Yeah.
I think the big issue was Sam Bass was standing right there when he did it.
Yeah.
I think that's where.
Yeah, he was like, here's this thing I painstakingly handmade, and Kyle's like, sick.
I love the
Hey,
use of
Sam.
movement tonight on this too.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Sam, screw you.
I usually don't get a chance to do visual gags when I'm in a Discord call, so my camera's not usually on.
Hey, look at that. But folks, make sure you're checking us out on. If you're listening on YouTube, you can also check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We post our Anchor link, which gives you that whole link tree onto our Twitter page. We'll also start putting it in the YouTube descriptions because I'm dumb and I didn't think of doing that until this very moment. But
Nice.
if you're listening to our podcast, or if you listen to the podcast audio only, you can come on over to YouTube. You can see our faces and our emotions on our faces, us waving at you,
Hi,
swinging
Mom.
baseball bats, smashing guitars. You can even see Bristol. We're hard at work producing another excellent episode of the Fake Racers podcast. With the conclusion of the show, it's time to plug a few things because we really appreciate you listening and we want you to listen just a little bit more. Guests
If you are so
first.
inclined.
Guest first. Matt,
Oh.
where can they get more from you? What links are they going to see in the video description?
I'm on Twitter at at Steelman51. I'm on Instagram as _unofficial_bay. Probably going to change that. Also, don't follow me because I don't post on Instagram at all, and I won't see it. My YouTube channel is Dale Jr. 88 Rocks because who needs social media integrate or like optimization when you can have different names on every website? And I think that's it, really. So, yeah.
Davey?
Whew, excuse me. Sorry.
Also,
Whoa.
buy the sticker and represent.
Definitely buy the sticker and the
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah,
I'm letting
you
it-
just
I'm letting
just go ahead and keep doing your thing. I'll be
No, you have your moment.
There you go. I was just
Okay,
gonna
you
do
had
it
your
in the
moment.
background.
Look at
That was
that.
pretty good.
Look at
That was
me.
a good moment.
I'm an
Yeah.
Good moment.
artist.
My shirt's not even here. You can find me on Twitter at Davey Hazard, on Instagram at D7H5, and on Twitch at D7H5er with an ER at the end. Joe, where can we find more about Joe or JTN or Johto Network or Johto Network?
We're obviously at Johto Network on Twitter. If you're watching on YouTube,
Yo, is this? Or wait, are you referred to as Johto Network? I never would have guessed that. Anyway.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
The artist formerly known as.
Dude, I'm so glad I dropped that Race Car Boy 9.3 little. Oh man,
isn't that your Snapchat too?
It was my everything, and then I was like,
at least your name isn't Dale Jr. 88 Rocks with an X at the end. So.
Yeah, but you actually got subscribers and I didn't.
Yeah,
so
that's why I can't change it. It's good because then people are gonna be like, "What's Dale Jr. 88 Rocks up to now?" I'm in too deep.
Who the heck is this guy?
I got somebody on Tosh.0. I'm not allowed to change it now. So.
God, just big timed us again.
He did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I met Justin Marks.
Yeah, I know, because I ran into him and said hi at GoPro Motorbikes.
I produce a better podcast than you guys do.
That's a lie. Boof Sides is definitively a worse podcast.
Johto Network on Facebook. If you're listening on, our podcast platforms, Johto Network on YouTube, we got all our live race broadcasts, of course. So if you want to hear more of my voice, I don't know why you would, but you can. I don't know. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I don't know. I don't care.
Your voice is great. So,
it's unique.
You're the voice of the USRL.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Voice of the
that's
wow.
like Mike Joy territory.
Wow.
So.
You just made Joe's heart tingle when you said
that. You know how much the video, whoever sent it into the I don't know what chat it was, but the video of all you guys in Charlotte watching our broadcast live, I saved it because it just anytime I'm done with the broadcast and I think I did crap and I didn't have fun or something bad happens, or like stuff crashes, I always look at that video because it just makes me happy. So I'm like, aw, they supported me.
Well, that's like our thing is like whenever we have like a wreck fest or a bad race, like all of us are like, God, Joe's gonna kill us after this. He's got to be miserable right now.
It is what it is. We're here. We're here for it. We get content out of it. Content creating game. You just make the content a little easier. That's what it's okay.
You send the dumbest wreck of the week to TikTok. No big deal.
I mean, Johto Network on TikTok. Go check it out. It was booming, and then it just wasn't.
That's how TikTok does, though.
That is how TikTok does. But can't thank you folks enough for tuning in. Can't thank our very special guest, Mr. Matthew Steelman. You can check out his merch on our merch store. You can check out Davey's merch on our merch store. I don't have merch on the merch store because literally my name is on the network in the merch, so I don't think I need the merch.
Wouldn't that technically mean you do have merch then?
You have all the merch.
I mean,
he has the most merch.
I designed it all. No, I mean, I'm sorry, Bristol designed it all. I just put it on the computer,
Well, let's not get it twisted here. The dog did it.
I'm just impressed because he doesn't even have thumbs.
So, well, he's a very he's like passed out next to me right now.
They make a special mouse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't use his mouth. But we need to end this show. We really need to end this show.
Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for watching and or listening, whatever you are so inclined to do. It was great to have a special guest in Matt Steelman.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to be on here.
Tell us if you like him on here. Maybe he comes on more. I don't know.
I had a lot of fun recording it. I just dropped my cough drops.
Can't wait for all the comments from the USRL folks. Like, worst guest ever.
Why? How?
Yeah. L. The chat's just gonna be full of L's.
That's all it's gonna be. How? Why? But thank you everyone for listening and watching and tuning in. I've been Davey Hazard. He's been Joe Tsawinski. He has also been Matt Steelman.
Hello.
And we'll see you guys around sometime soon.
See ya.